This presentation is on the paper that is entitled Overconfident and Underprepared, Assessment of First-Year Undergraduate Students' Information Literacy Skills. Hello, I'm Nancy Marksbury.
Hi, I'm April.
So to give you some context about Keuka College, we are 3/4 female. Half of our student population are Pell eligible. Many are recruited from rural and suburban high schools, most of which come from New York State, and many are first-generation college students.
The Leitner Library at Keuka College is a small traditional library, and our staffing is quite lean. We rely heavily on student workers to keep the library operating. Our information literacy sessions are provided in a one-shot style, and we found that it can be a struggle sometimes to assess the effectiveness of our information literacy sessions. We've tried varying methods of assessment, but we never quite feel satisfied with our results. After a review of the literature and in anticipation of a reaccreditation visit, we realized we needed to have a better understanding of the skills our first-year students are coming in with. That literature review led us to discover that there is a preponderance of agreement that first-year students are overconfident in their information literacy skills. First-year students tend to see themselves as information literate. They think that every question has a single answer, and they often believe that freely available online resources are adequate for their academic studies. They also perceive the research process as an activity of gathering sources rather than learning about a specific topic. So we set out to conduct a survey of our freshmen to see if our first-year students are experiencing a similar level of overconfidence to what we found in the literature. The survey totaled 32 questions and consisted of 4 questions to gather student demographics, 6 questions about reading preferences, 4 questions in which students self-rated their levels of confidence when engaging in information literacy-related activities, and 18 questions to actually assess those skills. 6 of those information literacy skill questions were provided in 3 different versions. Students were randomly given the A, B, or C versions of these questions. This randomization helped us to ensure that students were lacking an understanding of the concepts and not actually just being confused by the examples used in the questions themselves.
To administer the 15-minute survey, we visited several first-year experience course sections. During that time, students were advised of their right to choose not to take the survey, that responses would not be tied to their identities, and that their privacy would be protected. Immediately following the survey, we conducted mini lessons covering most of the topics from the survey, so that after having primed their brains, we didn't leave them hanging.
The survey opened with 4 demographic questions for participant placement into categories of age, gender identity, class, and major. Individual majors were collapsed into 4 general categories of major types. The major type of professional programs includes business, education, and social work. The liberal arts major type includes humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, and mathematics. The STEM health major type is comprised of nursing and occupational therapy. We first asked students to rate how challenging they found certain components and activities involved with the research process. To explore student ratings, answer choices for very easy and somewhat easy were collapsed into an answer category of easy, and the same method was repeated, combining the difficult answer choices. Students rated research components and activities as mostly easy to use, except for developing main points hypotheses, obtaining items through interlibrary loans, locating physical items in the library, using the online library catalog. We noted that use of an internet search engine was rated as easy by 80%, by far the highest out of all the components and activities we asked about. As an example of another of our confidence self-rating questions, the graph above with the blue bars represents response frequencies when students were asked to rank their own ability to critically evaluate sources of information. To provide a way to score a student's entire set of self-ratings, the responses were aggregated so that each student's answer resulted in a score of up to 95 points, 80% of which became a marker for high self-rank. 60 to 79% counted as a medium self-rank, and 59% and below was a low self-rank. We then had a self-rating score that is viewable by major types.
Next, the survey included 18 questions measuring students' information literacy skills. These questions measured the understanding of concepts such as identifying source types and basic search strategies. These questions had a right answer and could therefore be graded with a binary coding scheme of correct or incorrect. With the same percentage scale of student scores on the information literacy skill questions, scores of 80% and above were rated as high accuracy, medium accuracy for scores falling between 60 and 79%, and low accuracy for scores below 60%. Then we wanted to compare students' self-rank to their actual performance. Crosstabs were generated so that we first consider those who correctly ranked in relationship to accuracy levels. 55 students, those highlighted in the blue cells, or 35% of our sample, correctly ranked their perceived skill to actual performance. 93 students, or 58%, of our sample were overconfident, and those cells are highlighted in orange, leaving 7 individuals who underrated their confidence, and these are the cells highlighted in yellow. These results confirm for us that our students are overconfident and underprepared for academic research. So in conclusion, it is our experience that most students enter college without skills to participate adequately. But by designing instruction that attends to this realization, we're helping students accept their novice status instead of joining with them in the false pretense of assumptions. We can help students acknowledge this novice status by conducting polls and ratings to get their perceptions on levels of difficulty they encounter. Within the context of a new information ecosystem in higher education, bringing light to the uncertainty they experience can dispel these long-held myths. And our closing table enables greater precision for us to address specific areas that's local to our context. This work has also demonstrated to us the value of self-paced tutorials that attend to aspects of information literacy and digital literacy. We also hope that our methods may assist other librarians in simple pre- and post surveys of their information literacy assessment so that you too can demonstrate the contribution of your library to the academic mission.
Thank you everyone who attended this presentation. We know there's lots of competition for your attention right now with all the great presentations going on. We welcome any who would like to learn more about our survey and its results to reach out to us. We welcome your questions in the Q&A section on home base, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts.